Hey, what's up, Silver Stackers? Thank you for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer, so let's talk about silver. The title of this article is the most overrated silver coin in the world, and unfortunately, I don't even got to say what coin that is. You already know. If you're someone who's been stacking longer than 3 years, then this is such a crazy thing because the coin that used to be the cheapest, bottom of the barrel, just regular coin is now the most expensive, cream of the crop, top notch coin with the highest premium instead of the lowest premium. So, what's going on? Well, I've covered a couple times on my channel the legal stuff, what's going on, right? The codes they're in violation of, and there's a lot of stuff going on with the U.S. Mint. It is just a messy situation. Well, I've always covered this situation from a guy named Patrick Heller. And he has good friends within the U.S. Mint talking about how they outsource their silver now. They get most of it from the Sunshine Mint, and it's hard because they can only pay spot price, and the Sunshine Mint sells their own inventory above because they don't have the same laws and regulations. So they have no motivation to sell to the U.S. Mint because they have to sell at spot and not higher. So it makes sense. Now, there's a lot to this story. Plus, the U.S. government's trying to hold down their own interest rates on their own $30 trillion of debt. So there's just a lot going on. I've covered it, but I never heard an outside perspective. So I found another article that's talking about this. They go into the violations, right? The U.S. Mint is violating its statutory duty to supply the market. Then on top of that, you have the Silver Eagle risks becoming a symbol of government incompetence. The U.S. Mint, like other U.S. government agencies, seem to operate based on inflexible adherence to fixed standards and procedures. You also have the Silver Eagle coin as the worst value in its 36-year history. They also had to cancel the 2022 Morgan and Silver Peace dollars because they didn't have enough silver. They had to put a mintage cap on the Type 1 and Type 2 Eagles in 2021. They even ran out of silver in 2020, literally ran out and had to make a 1 million mintage supply at the end of the year from the San Francisco Mint. Now, since all this stuff started to come out, and by the way, they also admitted there is a silver shortage in 2021, first time a mint ever came out and publicly said that, and then right afterwards, the Royal Mint and the Perth Mint also stepped up and said, yeah, us too. But regardless, in 2020, when that news broke, when I saw that they ran out of silver, that's when I started digging into this stuff. And I've been going on this for almost 3 years now. So I know a lot of the detail, the inside stuff, and I can promise you the premiums on American Eagles are not going to just magically go back down like a lot of people are saying. It's much more serious than other coins that have premiums, and that's what a lot of people are comparing it to. They're thinking that the U.S. Eagles and Maples or Britannias that have this premiums are all in the same category. The U.S. Mint's in a completely different situation. They have a different law that no other mint has. And then you have some other investors are selling overvalued Eagles to buy other forms of silver. And that's another thing. It's sad because you see even like on Amazon, people are paying $50 for American Eagles and they're selling like hotcakes. A lot of people that just pre-2020 that bought Eagles at $1 over spot are now selling them at double the price, ripping people off. And that's the thing is like, I know silver's an investment and I know you're supposed to make profit, but I couldn't go on Amazon or eBay and price an Eagle at $50, ripping someone's head off. Maybe it's just because I'm a silver stacking channel and I'm supposed to be helping people. I'm supposed to be basically making a safe haven space to bring new stackers in and help them. And it would be extremely contradicting if I'm sitting there ripping people's heads off on eBay and Amazon. I just wouldn't feel right, even though I would be making my money. I mean, if you're not a silver stacking channel and you're not trying to be, making this a safe space for people and and educating them on how to stack in the best ways and the safest coins, and maybe do it, whatever. I'm just saying I personally couldn't do that. It just doesn't feel right. So anyways, let's go into this. Let's go into this article. You can tell that this is going to be a great video. If by the end of the video you think that this video deserves a like or that you like the video, then please like the video. I also post daily videos, so if by the end of the video you think my channel is worthy of a subscription, then please subscribe. I'm not going to ask you right now to like the video because we haven't even really jumped into the video yet. So yeah, anyways, let's talk silver. The most overrated silver coin in the world. Even as silver prices have begun to rally off their lows for the year, the white metal remains one of the best bargains in the investment universe. Few other assets are as cheap on a historical basis as silver is today. And by the way, I also thought, something else just popped in my head, that we see the top biggest dealers like SD Bullion having 71% premiums on their Eagles. I took that data probably a month ago, so I don't know if it's still the same, but yeah, 71% from one of the most popular dealers, which is SD Bullion. All of them were up there though. APMEX, all these other sites was like 64%, 67, but SD Bullion's was the highest at 71%. It's an opportune time for investors to favor precious metals over financial assets and to favor silver over gold. The gold to silver ratio currently comes in at 89 to 1, meaning an ounce of gold costs 89 times as much as an ounce of silver. We already know this stuff. Okay, I want to get into the meat and potatoes. So, here it is. For starters, silver stackers should be especially wary of coins touted as rare by numismatic peddlers. Such products command hefty premiums over spot prices, carry huge bid-ask spreads, and often aren't even particularly rare or collectible. And that's one of the most important things that I try to tell people. How to determine if a coin has value that will be detaching from spot price in the future, or if that price is worth it. Because just because a coin is priced at that price doesn't mean that coin is worth that price. Does the design change every year? Is there a low mintage number? Is it in a set or a series? Is it graded MS or PF70, or is it just some random bullion coin? You got to know that stuff. That's why I say beginners, just buy bullion. You got to crawl before you can walk. So ever since the lockdowns of 2020, the U.S. Mint has consistently failed to produce enough silver coins to keep up with demand. And like I said, ever since then, this is when I started digging into this situation. And I still dig into it today as, this video is getting made. So anyways, Mint officials blame supply chain disruptions and shortages of the silver blanks that are ultimately minted into coins. And that's not the truth. That is not the truth. Ever since the U.S. Mint started outsourcing their silver, which, by the way, they started doing that because they were getting, they were making 30, 40 million Eagles per year, and they couldn't have the resources to do that in-house. That's literally what one of the workers at the U.S. Mint said, one of the Mint directors. And so they started outsourcing their silver because it would be more convenient, actually cheaper to do so. But since we'll get into the laws down below that explain their situation now, but that's why. And even if they wanted to start sourcing their own silver, they don't have the tools and the workers to start doing so again. So they're back into a corner. So anyways, yet other mints, including sovereign mints around the world, haven't had such persistent problems with sourcing blanks or meeting production goals. Not even close, right? Privately run mints in particular have quickly adapted to changing market conditions and are supplying the bullion market with plenty of rounds and bars to help make up for the shortages of eagles. The silver eagles risks becoming a symbol of government incompetence. The U.S. Mint, like other U.S. government agencies, seem to operate based on inflexible adherence to fixed standards or procedures. And that's what I was talking about. Their law could easily be changed, where the secretary does not have to pay the LBMA spot price, where they could pay above. And that would fix the entire problem. As a result, Mint bureaucrats are incapable or unwilling to find any creative ways of increasing production. Always operating hand to mouth on blanks, they've pointedly refused to build up surpluses of blanks during periods of slower demand. God forbid the US Mint actually have extra silver sitting on the shelf. And that's another thing. There's a couple things actually right there I would like to throw to the table. One is they sold 5 million ounces the first month of January, so they definitely don't have extra silver sitting on the table. But also, two, they could be catching up because in June, their sales were the worst I've ever seen any mint actually. It was like 186,000 Eagles they sold in June compared to the 5 million ounces in January, where you have Perth Mint selling like 25 or two, it was like 2,500,000 coins or ounces in June compared to the US Mint that sold 186,000. So anyways, furthermore, and it wasn't just the Perth Mint, the Royal Mint is also, they're having record-breaking sales as well. So I'm thinking Britannias are definitely the one coming from the Royal Mint, and I mean, that's a no-brainer. Britannias are by far the most popular coins nowadays. Furthermore, only Sunshine Mint is currently supplying blanks to the US Mint for its Silver Eagle program. And that's what I was just saying earlier. They get their silver from the Sunshine Mint, but the Sunshine Mint has their silver where they could sell it above spot price. So why would the Sunshine Mint want to sell to the US Mint where they have to sell all their silver at spot? Sunshine Mint doesn't want to do that. They could be selling their own silver at way higher prices. So they have no reason to want to sell to the US Mint. The US Mint is reportedly difficult to work with, and as a result, few private mints in the US are interested in diverting silver production to government purchasing managers when they are already more than swamped with private demand. Year to date, the mint has made only 11.6 million ounces of silver bullion, or American Eagles, available for sale. That's only about half of what's been supplied through the first 7 months of previous years when silver bullion demand has been similarly strong. They have made 11.6 million ounces of silver bullion available for sale when they sold 5 million ounces the first month of January. The US Mint is violating statutory duty to supply the market. Now we get into the codes. It gets worse. US officials are actually violating their statutory duty to produce enough coins to meet market demand. The law 31 US Code 5112E states, and by the way, there's a lot of other codes that they're in violation of. Besides, it's looking like they just showed this one. If you show my more in-depth video, there's a lot of other ones. The Treasury Secretary shall mint and issue in qualities and quantities that the Secretary determines are sufficient to meet public demand coins, which, one, are 40.6 millimeter diameter and weight 31, The Treasury Secretary is allowed to determine the quantities that are sufficient, so a great deal of subjectivity is built into the shall mint mandate. The market, though, has clearly determined that the quantities of Silver Eagles being minted is insufficient. Because of the mint's bungling and production shortfalls, Silver Eagles carry extremely elevated numismatic-like premiums. And there we go. There we go. That's another point that Silver Eagles premiums aren't going to start falling if other premiums or these other premiums that these coins carry starts falling, because the US Mint's the one that's in serious trouble with the silver shortage due to their laws and regulations. Yet, due to inertia from the coin's previously deserved credibility and popularity, demand remains strong today despite the stomach-churning sky-high premiums over spot. And I think that people are going to start turning their backs more and more on Eagles. And as I've showed the recent monthly sales, the numbers don't lie. It's very obvious. All this makes Silver Eagles in real estate parlance. And by the way, they had like 76% decline from January to June. Now, obviously, it was going to be a somewhat of a decline because 5 million the first month of first month of January is a very high number to compete with. So we knew that there would be a percentage drop, but 76%, that's saying something. In real estate parlance, the most overpriced house in the neighborhood The upshot is that the neighborhood of silver bullion products contains a multitude of better buys. Value-focused investors are increasingly turning to other options. And then we have the situation where the investors are selling overvalued eagles to buy other forms, which makes sense. Various other silver coins, rounds, and bars that contain the same 99.9 purity of eagles can be purchased at a discount of up to $10 per ounce versus eagles in many cases. Buying silver eagles now is a decision to sacrifice as much as 50% of the eventual return. And that's another thing, is a lot of beginners don't understand that eagles, the design stays the same every single year, except for the Type 2s. But so that makes them they're not sought after. When the design changes yearly, like the kookaburra, the panda, the koala, coins like that, it drives more of a collectible value because people like to collect each year. But also, U.S. the eagles are minted in 20, 30, 40 million per year, so they're compared to the kookaburra, which is like 300 to 500,000, so they're not scarce at all. In fact, current holders of silver eagles have potentially viable arbitrage opportunities. They could sell their eagles for money metals over $9 over spot, and probably a lot more. But anyways, even silver spot prices may need to move higher, perhaps much higher, in order for the market to keep physical supply and demand balance. Were an actual silver shortage to develop, then it's theoretically possible that the entire retail bullion market could begin to trade more like silver eagles, as any available coins, rounds, and bars would be valued at a premium. And that's also what I was mentioning in my video a couple days ago. I was talking about the spot price of silver versus the actual price of silver. Spot price is irrelevant because nobody buys physical silver at spot price anymore. Spot price is an imaginary number that's only useful or relevant online. If you have to pay $40 for a coin, but spot price is 23, then what type of relevance does spot price have for you? If you were walking down the street and some guy saw that coin in your hand and said, hey, how much did you pay for that coin? And you said, well, I paid this much for the coin, but silver's price is actually this price. What price do you think that guy is going to think in his head that silver is? Spot price it doesn't mean anything in the physical world because of supply and demand, low supply, high demand. Just like in 2021, I remember Bank of America, I think even Goldman Sachs predicted $50 silver by the end of the year. And they weren't wrong. It wasn't spot price being $50, but to buy an actual ounce was around $50. See, sometimes when we talk about silver rising, it might not be the spot price we're talking about. It could just be what you have to pay for that ounce. Low supply, high demand pushes the price up. What if it's not talking about spot price? What if it's just talking about the price you have to pay for that metal? And then for now, though, most retail silver products can still be purchased on the cheap. Unless you have special reasons, we suggest avoid buying today's most overrated silver coin in the world until conditions change. And will conditions change? Like Patrick Heller said, probably not for a very long time, since the U.S. government has a very strong interest in holding down its own $30 trillion in debt, or the interest rates on that. So yeah, and when I say a lot of this information on the side, it's coming from other sources that I've read, right? Other pieces of information. I'm not just making this stuff up off the top of my head. I'm not the one just saying this stuff. It's coming from other sources, other pieces of information, and I'm kind of just sliding it in with this to give it more context so you guys understand more to the story, because there is a lot more to the story, even what this article and what I just said is as well. I mean, it goes very deep, and that's why I've been trying to, unravel this whole picture. So I also really do recommend you go check out the other videos I've made talking about this. and it really is important because this stuff is serious, especially if you are someone who has eagles or is willing to buy eagles or wants to just see where this story goes, because this could kind of manifest into all types of silver like the article said at the end. So anyways, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. I will link this article in the description. If you thought this video deserves a like, then please give the video a like. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please subscribe. I post lots of different types of content. I post silver news, price forecasts. I talk about the shortage. I do unboxings, giveaways, silver stacking strategies. I do it all. I do it all. Interviews. I do everything and anything on this channel. So you'll always, every single day, be kept in the loop. You know, if you subscribe to my channel, it's like every day you get your little 10, 20-minute dose of information that day, that what's happening in the silver market. You don't got to go anywhere else. As long as you subscribe, you know, just check in. Hey, what's silver doing today? Or any new news broke? I got you every single day. Click the bell so you get notified, and you're always going to stay in the loop. I think that's really important, especially in today's day and age where so much is happening. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.